All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm speaking to today, there's something here that you're considering, and I see you trying to figure out how to balance out a situation, what's the best way forward, wanting to stay in control of it all, and kind of just having a lot on your plate. There's something here that you are building, and it comes through as a pretty serious commitment, something that you've decided to devote your energy towards. And it could feel like you're kind of waiting for it to get off the ground, and you're kind of building up the practical steps. You're building up what you're going to do each day, how you're going to work on this each day. Maybe you have a to-do list and you're kind of ticking things off your list. And then as you do that, even though you're kind of handling the practical side, you also may have certain expectations around this, and how this commitment is going to go. For some of you, this could be a long-term relationship that you've invested a lot of time and energy into. For others of you, this could be some type of project. And for others of you, it could be something more personal, like some type of spiritual endeavor. But it's a commitment that you've made to yourself that I'm seeing that you're really wanting to just succeed at, or succeed with, or find some measure of success with. And there may be this feeling of things either being put on pause or it taking a long time to show results, to the point where you could feel like, oh, nothing's happening here. When is it going to kind of get off the ground? And you could be feeling a little bit disappointed, or a lot of it disappointed, about sort of the progress that you've made with whatever this is. I'm going to dive into the rest of the reading here, Sagittarius, but before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving the reading. If you would like to devote your energy to the reading so that I can manifest messages that resonate more with you, you can like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, I do offer personal readings. You can find my email down below in the description box and email me there for a personal reading. But let's get into it, Sagittarius. So I'm seeing here that you kind of opened up in the past to this thing that would make you really happy, right? Like whatever this commitment is, this feeling of, this is what I want to do, this is really exciting, this is a new opportunity, and you kind of had a beginner's mind of, I'm just going to get started and see where this goes. But then kind of as you got started, I'm seeing there may have been some anxieties around whatever this was. Is it going to go well? Am I going to succeed? Something like that. And in the current energy, I see that kind of intensifying. We go from the Seven of Swords to the Nine of Swords. So even more anxiety, even more, doubts, worries about this. And really your doubts and worries seem to revolve around how long this is taking and the element of time. And it's not necessarily happening on your schedule. And I see that really kind of worrying you. And maybe in the beginning, it was, kind of fun. It was exploratory. You were like, yeah, I'm still in the beginning phase. But now that some time has passed, I see you kind of anxious about how long it's taking. And when I look into the future here, I see you asking me pretty directly, is this going to progress soon? Kind of wanting that progression to happen right away. And with the Oracle cards today being fragmentation, totality, and silence, Spirit is kind of urging you to bring the pieces of yourself back together. When we become anxious and we become upset and we let those feelings be sustained and we fuel those feelings, we become more and more fragmented, and all the little pieces of us kind of split off, and it becomes harder and harder to put the pieces back together. And with silence and totality here, Spirit's asking you to take a moment to calm down, I'm hearing, but also just to slow down, to really just sit and start to reassemble the pieces of yourself that maybe have gotten a bit scattered as you started kind of rushing around in your mind about your expectations for this or what you need for this. And with exhaustion at the bottom of the Oracle card deck, I'm seeing that you're actually kind of burnt out from how stressed out you are from this. And so Spirit's urging you to slow down and to sit in silence and to kind of reassemble those pieces of yourself. Because say you're a beautiful vase and one piece chips off, maybe not a big deal, but slowly more and more pieces chip off and start to scatter. um, that vase is going to no longer be a vase. It's going to start to be something else with its energy in a bunch of different places. And so that's going to be really exhausting for you as the container of that energy. And so it's important that you kind of recenter, that you slow down, that you accept things for how they are, really, is what I'm seeing. Now, let's dive into the tarot a little bit more. I want to see what it is that you opened up to, like what this is that you've been kind of focused on. Whatever this is that you opened up to, it's something that you kind of thought, okay, this is going to give me a lot of stability. This is going to be kind of a dream come true. If I can get all of this to work out, like it's just going to, everything's going to be perfect, is essentially how I'm seeing it. And then with the Five of Pentacles, I'm seeing that in the material world, even though you felt passionate about it and you felt excited and you had these sort of dreams for whatever this was, when it materialized, it seemed to take a little longer to get off the ground, like I said, and also just to be a little bit more difficult in the material world. Maybe you put material resources into this and it didn't quite give you the returns you were hoping, or it's just taking a long time to give you that sense of stability and success that you're looking for. And so your expectations with this kind of didn't line up with how it kind of ended up going. And this comes through as kind of like a dream that some of you might have had since childhood, or just something that speaks to your inner child. And so you could have been going forward with this from that place of excitement that our inner child gets when we get a great idea, which is a great place to manifest from, but it's almost like reality kind of came crashing down on you at one point. I see that you were feeling really good about this. You were feeling really confident, really excited to move forward with it, you know, all of that. And you were like, this is what I'm going to do. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm going to go forward with it. And then when you did, it's like there were blockages around those manifestations coming in, or around the action, or maybe it started to feel like, oh, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I see your confidence kind of being shaken. You're like, I still love this, I still believe in this, but I'm not as confident as I once was about my ability to pull this off. You also could have this idea that you have to do it all alone, or there's this feeling of, if I don't do it all alone, I'll be a failure, or like that this is your project alone. It's almost coming through as this energy of like needing to prove to yourself that you can do it all in a way, that you can support yourself, that you can be the person essentially who kind of single-handedly pulls whatever this is off. And that comes through as a little bit deceptive, because it's not just you, you know, you're never alone and you don't have to work on this alone. There's also this idea, I think, that this is going to, like, I'm getting like the phrase fund your whole life for some reason. And even if this isn't like a material endeavor, like for those of you who this is a a relationship or a connection or something like that, there's this idea that this one thing is going to provide for you, and then you'll be done and you'll be fine and you'll have everything that you need through this one thing. And it comes through as a little bit deceptive in that sense, because you then end up shutting off to other things in a way by only focusing on one thing. And the point of this is to actually open up your energy rather than to close off. And this is coming through as having to do with something material, and you having this idea of like, I have to make this work. And I see you kind of putting a lot of pressure on yourself because of the material component, and kind of this idea of like, well, if this doesn't work out, then I have nothing, and that's not really true. And it kind of, that could be what leads to that fragmentation where you kind of become disconnected from the experience itself because you're more focused on what you get out of it, or the harvest, or profit, something like that. And it's more about the experience, because initially you went into this because it was something that you enjoyed, and then you kind of come out of it looking at it as like a financial opportunity, and that kind of disconnects you from your heart at the end of the day. And the current energy, you're showing me that you're very stressed out. Let's take a look at that. There could be this feeling of, did I make the wrong choice? For others of you, that could be one story. For others of you, there's maybe some communication with someone else that kind of broke down or didn't make you feel so good. Really what I'm seeing is something about just like your expectations not being met, whether that's in a connection or just related to this endeavor. And that really kind of something kind of comes in from the outside and affects your energy quite a bit. Like maybe something that you relied on, a source of support. This could be someone around you, or just something in your foundation. Like something kind of comes into your life that affects your energy quite a bit, maybe in a way that you weren't expecting. And that could also contribute to your ability to move forward with whatever this is. I see you trying to hold on throughout this experience. That's kind of a recurring theme. Now, I don't know if that's holding on to expectations or holding on to something in your life that isn't working for you, but there's some type of struggle, and it's like you're holding on for dear life, and really, Spirit's kind of asking you to rest, or maybe something's coming in that creates a period of rest that kind of interrupts this process of stress, because if this much stress is building up in your energy, it's inevitable that eventually the universe is going to send something in that kind of forces you to take a step back. And so if things have kind of slowed down for you recently, or something happened to force you to slow down and you're kind of like, what the hell? It's because there was some type of conflict that you were holding on to that wasn't serving you. And that has to do with whatever it is here that's been stressing you out and making you anxious. I'm seeing also that as you kind of take this step back and as you really allow yourself to rest, you start to see, okay, like this is going to take some time for me to build up the profit or the harvest that I'm looking for. And once you kind of accept that, I see you kind of having more peace with the situation, more acceptance, because you're no longer expecting like an immediate turnaround. Now, that said, in the near future, I do see you kind of looking for like, okay, even though I know that on some level, like I'm ready for it to turn around. I'm ready for things to speed up. And I actually see that things are going to speed up for you, and it comes from this energy of acceptance. It's like all the struggle and the stress that you were going through, as soon as that energy stops and slows down, and you start to accept that you're kind of just at the beginning of seeing results from this, once you have that sense of acceptance, that's when you're going to start to see the energy shift. You're kind of just continuing, you're doing your best to keep going, and you're having a lot of trust and saying, it'll shift when it shifts. And I see that that starts to move the energy forward, again, because that mix of acceptance and faith in your energy opens up space for the universe to come and meet you. Because even if you weren't trying to resist what's going on in this process, the energy of anxiety and struggle and hardship and disappointment, that's going to kind of block your manifestation here. And as soon as you start to heal what it was that you were holding on to in terms of those expectations, and you start to accept that you're only at the beginning of this journey, that's when things really start to open up for you. And I do see you kind of doing that. So that's good. You're excited for this change. You're kind of showing me like, I know I'm gonna see the harvest sometime. I know I'm going to um, level up, that I'm going to see the fruits of my labor. And so I just see you kind of waiting for that change to happen, kind of waiting for your ships to come in. And ultimately, I do see you making the choice to move forward. And as you make that choice, you start to, things start to align, like things start to pick up for you. And it's when you've really healed and accepted, I see you shifting your perspective and shifting to a place of, you know what, maybe there's a lot that I don't know about this process. You start to be a lot more open to what the universe has to offer. You start to leave behind those expectations. And it's almost like as soon as you do that, there's a shift in the energy that's subtle, but it's there. And it's like, maybe you only take one step forward, or, things only increase for you like incrementally. But it's such a crucial shift, this one little step that you take into acceptance, because it opens the door for you to receive in a way that maybe you weren't open to before without even really realizing it. The advice from the universe is just keep going. Even if you're tired, just take one step at a time. Even if you're exhausted, like, you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing. Try to clear your energy, try to center yourself, and then just keep going and trust the process. It doesn't all come together right away. You know what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that really applies to you here. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates for you, and I'll see you next time.